Welcome back to AFTV, a thrilling 1-1. I mean, what do we even go into, Turkish? I know you've just been chatting away in the background. So much you want to get off your chest about that game. Let's go into it.
We're going to struggle. I'm telling you, we're going to struggle. But one eye on Real, I guess, or both eyes on Real, as far as I'm concerned. We were talking before the game. It would have been nice had we gone into this with the chance to make it 6 points on Liverpool, just to have something in it. But that's all. That's all gone long time now. Mm-hmm. So it is what it is. I think the substitutions were a bit funny. I think some players got a few minutes, much needed minutes. Other than that, it is what it is. Everton wasn't the best prep for Real at the Emirates. We smoked Real 3-0. Mm-hmm. This didn't look like the best of performances before the away leg. Hopefully it turns out the same way as it did after Everton.
Funny game, football. You can sort of find it in you for one occasion that you can't for another. I will say, you touched on something there. You said long before me that the league was done, and I've been saying this since February. But you touched on something there, which is, had we beaten Everton, had we beaten Brentford, it's an extra 4 points on the board, and now Liverpool will be going to their game tomorrow going, like, they're 6 points behind us, albeit with a game in hand, there'd be some sort of pressure. So on the one hand, you kind of wish Arsenal were at least asking that question of them. On the other hand, you actually stop and go, we led in both those games. And we've led in a lot of games that we've thrown away this season. Mm-hmm. We kind of praise our defence massively, and I think they deserve that because of the quality because the quality they show. Also, they barely actually concede many goals, but there is something about us not being able to hold on to leads as a collective.
Yeah. I mean, that 90 minutes was a chore. I'm telling you. You're not wrong. I think again the substitutions for me just ruined. Not that we were in much flow, but we were very much in control, and the midfield was dominating as they should. When you look how strong we went.
2 weeks in a row, the subs, which were meant to make us stronger, have kind of killed us.
Yeah, kind of didn't unravel us completely. It wasn't all hands on deck after it, but Brentford grew into the game a little bit more. They had a couple more opportunities, and they took one of them. And listen, it wasn't the best of games for either side. We definitely looked like we had one eye on Madrid, and they definitely looked like they got one eye on the summer break, I think, because they're pretty much safe. Yeah. And they was holding onto the ball. Goalkeeper was taking a little while with goal kicks from the first half. So unfortunately, they didn't come to play. I would have liked a bit more of a end to end sort of game, because it's different from the usual with us.
Proved anything but.
But yeah, proved anything but. And yeah, it's Brentford, it's 1-1. It's the league's done long time. What does it make it? 6 points between us and Forest now, who lost today. For me, Champions League football has been secured for a little while. Not because we've been great, but because the other teams beneath us are much more inconsistent. We've been the best of the rest. Liverpool have been clean the best, and we've been clean the best of the rest. Not good enough, but that's why I was never too worried about second, third, fourth, and now fifth. And partly because of us making it through in the Champions League. So yeah, that was never really a concern of mine. But yeah, considering Liverpool's form recently and the opportunities that we had over the last 180 minutes in the league, it would have been nice. But Bernabeu, let's get the job done. And move on to hopefully a semi-final in the Champions League, and there's more prep in these Premier League games for the players that need minutes.
Agree with that. Look, we're going to be on Forever Arsenal. There's going to be plenty of content, so looking ahead to Madrid. So let's actually talk about this game in somewhat a bit more detail. I know the kind of initial thought is, what's there to talk about? But what about the players that came in? Partey, right back, I thought did well. I thought Jorginho was having a good half, but really fell away. You're looking at Trossard on the false nine, something I've been calling for. Don't think he excelled at all. Thought Martinelli was in good form going into this game. I'm not sure about him. Waneri on the run. What did you make of the players that did come in?
Tierney.
You have called on them to show something because we may need them.
No, Tierney was. I always like a cameo from Tierney, starting or not starting. I think he always gives 100, and the unfortunate circumstance with him is he's not a modern day inverting type of fullback. So I like Tierney. I like that he's got more minutes under his name. Ranieri had his moments.
Yeah, he done moments.
Yeah, Trossard terrible. Jorginho, I'm tired, if I'm honest, of him, and he comes in and keeps it ticking, but you're never gonna get from me wow. Partey done well, right
Yeah,
back.
obviously got the goal, yeah.
Rice, I think, dominated the midfield without
Yeah.
doing too much. And essentially them two players won it for us with the fast break.
Yeah.
Who else am I missing in terms of
There's
opportunities
Zinchenko.
given?
Zinchenko came into the middle. I thought he did some nice things, but I mean, hardly blown away.
Yeah, first half pinging it about a bit, smoothing the transition, but overall didn't really set the world alight. I don't think no one really came in and ruffled any feathers in terms of selection for Wednesday night's game.
What do you make of, look, we can't know from sitting here in a studio and watching a TV, we can't know what's going through Arteta's head really, but there does seem a demeanour of intensity still there on the touchline. There does seem to be like, when Saka missed that chance at the end, he really kind of had his head on his hands. And I mean, I was just like, oh, Saka kind of missed a good chance. Yeah, I wasn't kind of overawed by the moment. It felt like Arteta is still kind of really trying to drive the team in these games that feel like they don't matter as much because of Real Madrid coming along. I guess my question to you is this a manager who is trying to maintain a standard for the team, or I mean, I don't know. Do you think, I don't really know what I'm trying to ask you. Do you think that's kind of normal, or is it a bit too much? I don't really know what I'm trying to ask. I guess I'm surprised he looks as animated, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, you look at City and the school he's learnt from, which is Pep. And I think Pep has that approach. And I think a couple of City players and fans have spoken about momentum and a couple of years ago we had the bigger fish to fry stuff. But I remember Steve, for example, on Big Six always saying, but it's good to be, and Hugh, always saying it's good to be in multiple competitions because you can build a little wave, you can get rid of any little doubts you have selection wise, or give minutes and build momentum in players that maybe haven't played a part. So there are advantages to it. And I expect my manager to be unhappy with a draw at home to Brentford, regardless, because really, we've got Gabriel out in terms of first team, and Havertz obviously as well first team. But it's Brentford at the Emirates. We're coming off the back of our biggest win, especially for this club, this team. I mean, sorry, not club. So yeah, I would have expected a bit more, and I think Arteta would have been the same.
Confident for Madrid?
Yeah, I think Madrid have a chance. We've got to manage the game. I said about the first leg, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30. Let's just see how we go. Same here, 10, 20, 30. Let's get to half-time. You get to half-time with it all square, we're through. That's how I see it.
Yeah.
Concede early, it's going to be nervy. I'm going to be there.
Stress.
But yeah, I said 2-0 lead would be 50-50 in Bernabeu. I think a 3-0 lead's 80-20. So I think that's confident.
If they get that first goal, do you start to panic a bit? Or you
That 80-20 becomes 50-50 real quick. So yeah, I'm no fool. I've seen Real do a madness against great teams. So yeah, it's going to be a massive game, massive chance for Arsenal to get into the last four of Europe's elite competition, the one we haven't touched before. So regardless, this season, as much as it looked like it was heading down, one of the more disappointing paths, potential success in this competition, no one will remember the bullshit that's happened throughout the season.
The idea that we win 4 more football matches, don't even have to win them all. We have to win maybe 2 of them. And, is that 4? Have I got that right? Anyway, and everything, what has been a dross of a campaign, will be the best. One of the best in our history.
Yeah.
Like a funny old sport.
Just like that.
Yeah.
Just like that. So, massive chance for these players, man. That's why I expected more today.
Yeah.
But yeah, we didn't get it. It is what it is. Another chance next week, hopefully, with a semi-final in mind.
Let's see. Turkish, big thanks, man.
No.